You mentioned you're juggling several projects right now. Can you just list off a few that are top of mind?
Okay, so the biggest one is that I'm in a band. I'm a professional musician,
Hmm.
and I am in the process. I don't know if you've seen it on my streams or not, but occasionally I will, play my original songs and stuff like. Yeah, yeah. So it's been going well. Uh, some people know my name around the region that we're performing at, and I think there's a promising like prospect of me eventually being able to play these songs live. I went to the recording studio just this past weekend, and we
Cool.
were recording my band's music. But the band leader, I've sang him some of my stuff, and he's very interested in producing some of my stuff. And the recording studio that we've been recording in as of late, it's a pretty big place for industry professionals. And I'm getting to know them.
Mm.
They're very interested in getting to know me and seeing me more. You know, eventually getting to do our stuff, my personal original stuff, like within the coming weeks. So I'm very excited.
That sounds fantastic. It seems like you have very good a very good positive movement in that
Yeah,
direction.
yeah, man. Honestly, it's I I'm excited, and I have nothing but good feelings about it. I think this is my calling.
Rightfully so.
I think doing artistic stuff is my calling right now. So and
I mean, if it feels good to do and you're seeing success in it, there's really not any reason to not
yeah, and the
pursue it.
cool thing is like the crazy. No, dude, this is actually crazy. So when did you start VTubing?
I need to think about that one.
Like your first ever stream.
I think I'm going to say late 2021,
You
probably.
know, I might be on the same boat. I think I'm also there. I think around like late 2021, early 2022.
Hmm.
When I first started streaming, dude, if someone said like, if my future self would have came and be like, yeah, one day you'll enjoy singing in front of in front of people, I wouldn't believe them. I was extremely shy to talk, let alone sing. And then, but the cool thing is, like when you start streaming and you start content creating and you start VTubing, like it helps people like me get out of my shell. I'm generally an introvert.
I do notice I do notice that. Yeah. I didn't have a wouldn't believe it kind of thing going on. I did specifically start, well, one of the reasons I started streaming outside of just stroking my gigantic ego was
Gigantic
to
ego.
uh have an opportunity and a reason to speak more clearly because I moved around a lot. I don't really have a set speaking pattern, and I've picked up a lot of lazy speaking habits. So if things were left to their own devices, I would have been predominantly speaking some ungodly mixture of like the most hideous Bostonian you can imagine with like a very lazy, drawn out Southern slur.
Boston. What do you
Yeah.
your speaking habits, like your accent? Just let me hear it, bro. Let me hear it.
No, this is mostly my like properly this is not an act. This is not kayfabe. This is how I normally speak. But if I get tired, normal before that I would start like having more of a drawl to it and then reverting to the Boston way of speaking. Despite not really being out of from Boston proper, I was from further up north where they speak normal English.
Let me hear it.
That's
No, I
you're
want to hear
hearing
the
it right
fucking
now.
the
There's
fucking pack the car and have it yard. Let me hear it, man.
no. I never did that part. I never did the pak the
Man,
ka. Never did that.
what a jip. I wanted to hear it. I wanted to hear it, man.
Well, listen, the goods aren't there. Unfortunately or fortunately, I've never been afflicted by that.
You know, I was born in I was born in another country. I was born in a little a little tiny island in Southeast Asia, and the first place my family moved to, not knowing a lick of English, was fucking buttfuck nowhere, Arkansas. And I was like, yeah,
Nice.
man, it was crazy. It was kind of a culture shock, and I grew up in the South for a little bit, but I don't know if I ever developed an accent from there, but it's I kind of wish I did. Sometimes I try to do like a fucking like sometimes on stream, like my favorite thing to do is like do a little Southern Belle accent, like
You do have a very lovely Southern Belle act.
thank ya.
You do you have a bit of a what do they call that? A transatlantic twist to
Oh,
it,
I
but I think
love
that
it,
makes it
man.
work even better.
I fucking love transatlantic accents, man. Don't get me
I
started.
know.
Dude, I wish people still talked in that fake ass accent. I wish.
It's kind of a
It's
lost
hard.
art at this
It
point.
is. It's an art. It's not even a real accent. It's just
Well, yeah, it was synthetic to make it like universally. It was
yeah,
basically
true.
the Esperanto of English.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, but damn. That's cool that you say that because I don't know how to speak in a transatlantic, but like like.
It's kind of difficult to describe, right? I think it's like it's not exactly like Northern Yankee English, but it has like elements of it, like the straight lace pronunciation of certain words, but the tone play I think is like more Midwestern,
Okay.
and so the mix makes it weird.
Yeah. I don't know who the fuck invented it, but it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
It's hard to do. It's really hard to do. But
Yeah, the advertising landscape would be so much better if we still had ads in the transatlantic accent.
you know what? We should bring it back, bro. We should do some
Yeah,
like VTuber. We should do some VTuber content where like
exactly,
no,
exactly. I mean,
I'll learn it.
you advertise a grill to me in a transatlantic accent. I'm
I'll
getting a
even
payment
go.
plan on that bitch.
Yeah, I don't even use that shit, but I'll get it. Yeah, dude, we need to bring that art form back for sure.
I live in Texas, and shamefully, I'm still grillless. But hopefully, I'll fix that
Dude, what
situation
the hell?
someday. I don't really have the real estate for grills just yet. I hopefully will be moving to more spacious accommodations within the year. That's the plan so far. But up to that point, no cat, no grill.
Y'all are lucky though, cause it's like I've been in Texas, and you guys got a lot of land. You guys also
Hmm.
have like it's kind of cheap to get a house there. I think.
Well, not exactly.
Why?
Well, it depends on where. Well, because the goddamn Californians just swept, they've
That's true.
inflated the pricing. People from California were coming in with cash.
Yeah,
They didn't
yeah.
even have to go into mortgages because you sell like a 500 square foot shack in California somewhere in Pasadena. You swoop in and you can just buy a
Four story.
family
I mean,
home
sorry, a 4 bedroom family
for a
home. Yeah.
unironically you could do
Yeah,
that.
it's
I think
true.
you can still do that.
It's true.
So I looked up prices because I just sort of started looking at the market I think like a year ago, and then I looked at historic prices for the areas I was looking into. It's like made me physically unwell. That's like the angriest I've been in months because I see the pre-COVID pricing. I see like I don't know, a four-bedroom house in a nice suburb for like $250,000 with a pool. You're like, what the hell? That sells for like six
Yes.
to 700,000 now.
Yeah.
This is unreal.
Yeah. I know, man. And I mean, I don't want to dox myself, but I live in California. Yeah, and it's crazy.
My condolences.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Dude, yeah, the housing market here is. I just got a mortgage, and
It's been
it's
rough
not
for a
fun.
number of years, though, right?
Yeah, dude, it's always been expensive to live here. Even worse now, but
Yeah. Even worse now.
I think so. Like I think everything's just it's inflating, bro.
Huh. I
Yeah,
would have thought that at least house prices would have been correcting with so many people moving to Arizona.
maybe
Hmm.
maybe I will say though, I'm not gonna like name how much I had to pay, but it's a lot, and I couldn't have done it without military benefits. So that's all I'll say.
Oh,
Yeah.
it, wait, you didn't use your military benefits for the better mortgage rate?
No, I did.
Okay.
The reason why I have the place I have now is I have benefits that helps. But yeah, no,
That is a good thing. Like
it's
as
awesome.
horrible as it is to deal with the VA, it's nice when you finally, get what you're supposed to be getting out of them.
Honestly, they've been taking care of me. I don't have any complaints about the VA. Like I know other
Mm,
people do, but I think what they really want is for you to follow up, because I've helped a lot of people out to get their
hmm
I have a lot of veterans. I know, like honestly, I have tons of veteran friends, and I've always been
mm.
like, dude, are you using your VA benefits? And they're like, nah, dude, it sucks talking to VA. I'm like, yeah, it's supposed to suck. It's supposed to like, it's kind of like a deterrent. Like they want you to work for it. They want you to like submit dumb, annoying paperwork. They want you to follow up as much as you possibly can. They want you to submit every possible documentation.
I
They
don't
want to
know
make it
what they
hard.
want because like I have a friend of mine just recently got full disability and he had to fight for that shit. He
Yeah,
had to get a lawyer to fight for
you
that shit.
should. Well, honestly, I didn't
And
need a lawyer, but yeah, you just need to know the fucking ins and outs.
well, again, he has a full-time day job. Like he's a functioning member of society. He just did not have the light of day to do that. Like it would have to detract from hobbies he actually enjoys. And
Okay.
I think the play there was to just get a lawyer to lawyer at them until they give up.
Are you saying that I'm not a functioning member of society because I didn't need a lawyer?
No, 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 no. I mean that the guy likes painting Warhammer minis and he doesn't want to distract himself from that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I know some people who got it with a lawyer, and honestly, it's a smart move. They're just gonna take a chunk of
Yeah.
the they're just gonna take a chunk of the retroactive back pay that you deserve, but
Mm-hmm.
it's fine. Honestly, I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. But like I said, it's meant to be hard. It's meant to make you like have to push for it. But then when you actually get it,
Mm-hmm.
it's good. You know, they just want you to,
Yeah.
you know, they're not gonna give you shit unless you like, unless they know that you want that shit.
The government is generally like that. They're very good at taking your money, less so giving it back.
Yeah, that's true, man. Taxes are crazy.
Yeah, I just finally got my tax return for last year, so finally done with that.
I don't even know if I got mine like from last year. I feel like they're sketched out. What I've claimed, I don't know.
I'm lazy. I go through TurboTax. I'm just fine paying them their lobbyist blood money
Yeah, me too.
to
Lobbyist
make it
blood money.
easier on myself. Well, because one of the reasons our tax code is what it is right now is because TurboTax, or rather the parent company of TurboTax, lobbies the government with gigantic amounts of money to not simplify the tax code. Because with the tax code being so dipshittedly opaque that people don't want to bother with it, TurboTax just rakes in an upward of $1 billion in revenue every year
Holy
just
shit.
from doing people's taxes.
So, what what can what's the solution?
Well, apparently it's apparently it's disbanding the IRS and canceling income tax, which seems to be the line of thought that's currently entertained.
Do you agree with that?
I would like to see the math. So on the face of it, we as a country did not have income tax until war bonds were introduced, I believe, for World War One, and
Oh
then
wow.
increased further for World War Two. Replacing just direct income tax with, for example, a sales tax or a value added tax would encourage savings and not like it wouldn't punish savings the same way that our current system does. Because under the current system, when you pay money for like every time money changes hands, so you get taxed on the money you make, you get taxed on the money you save, and then you buy something with the money you were already taxed on, and you get taxed on the transaction as well. So if we just at the very least remove that layer, that does make sense, and it does actually encourage people to start at least saving money instead of just burning through it as fast as possible. But again, it depends on what's going to be used to offset it. Tariffs are being touted as a solution. I'm not sure about that one because again, it's going to be a fine balancing act.
Look, man, I don't know shit about any of this stuff.
Ah, I wish I can't claim that I know everything about this despite being a business major.
You're a business major too?
I am a
Dude,
business
me
major.
too. Let me tell me about it. Tell me.
I'm just a bachelor. I'm still skimping out. I'm not getting my MBA
Dude,
yet.
I have my MBA. And that shit is just sitting on my
Hell yeah.
wall. Useless. Cause guess what? I don't wanna be a fucking office drone. No, bro,
Listen,
you know my MBA, you know
I
my degree
love my
is
wagey KG.
that shit is emergency toilet paper, my guy.
Hey, I got employed off of it at least in the beginning.
It's more the fact that it's just not my calling, you know? I'm a fucking
Ah,
artist, bro. I'm a musician. I want to create stuff.
yeah, it's rough to be any just have any kind of creativity about you and have to interact with corporate America or
Soulless.
honestly corporate anything.
Oh my gosh,
It's
it's
not that
soulless. No, I
it's
feel
not that
soulless, bro. No, dude, it sucks my
it's
soul.
not soulless. It's not soulless. It's psychopathic is what it is. It
It
is an
well,
environment that
sociopathic.
is made for type A psychopaths.
Yeah, it's true.
And I aspire to be that.
Eh, Does this go back to what you said about you having a an ego? Tell me about that. What does that mean? Felt
Um
like you were very willingly telling the truth there. Was that
oh
real?
that's I score disgustingly high on the dark triad
What
traits.
is that? Tell me about what that is.
Oh, the dark triad, that's the dark triad of personality traits is oh God, what is it? Narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism.
Okay.
Basically, bad people score very high on that, and I
Okay.
score above average.
Where can I do this test? Can I like can I do it quick just so we can discuss like
I
or does it take a
think
while?
I think it takes like 15 minutes to
We're
do.
not gonna
So
do that
sure,
then.
if yeah, maybe next time. We're gonna save the your dark triad result reveal for next
Hold
time.
on, hold on. Do you know enough about the Dark Triad to where you can ask me some questions that you were asked, and then maybe you can like,
No,
no, you don't. Okay, damn it.
I don't
I wanna
remember the
know.
questionnaire.
I want you to judge
It's
me.
like mm, I don't really like engaging in that. I don't know.
What do you mean you don't like engaging? What do you mean?
Well, I don't like judging other people. Like I'm not about like using the measuring stick on people around me. I think it's an asinine way to approach interactions.
Um, wait. Well, like for example, if you knew, if you kind of knew what to ask in order to kind of gauge someone's dark triadisms, you wouldn't be able to do that on me because you don't like
No,
to, like ethically or.
no. I wouldn't be able
Oh,
to.
okay. You don't have like
Just
the
I
capacity for it.
lack
Got you.
yes, I lack the competences needed for that. The formal education of I guess being a psychiatrist.
Oh, okay. Okay. Can you like explain in a general reason why you score high on psychopathy, on
Uh,
Machiavellianism, and what was the other one? Oh, narcissism.
narcissism.
Yeah, narcissism. Why do you score high on that?
Why I
Like,
score that way?
yeah.
As in how is that expressed, or like what deep-seated trauma do I had that made me into a person like that?
I guess what I'm asking is like what kind of person are you?
Ah,
Yeah,
that's I don't think the dark triad describes that
it doesn't.
effectively. I would say that
I'm confused
it
then.
doesn't because, well, for example, Machiavellianism is a propensity to scheme and manipulate.
Yeah,
So
especially in like a
I
political sphere, right?
just any even interpersonally you can do
Oh,
that.
okay.
I don't find it beneath me to do that.
to scheme
because I
like
I believe that in most cases the means justify the ends. Then sort of your moral character is revealed more in why you do certain things as opposed to the things that you do.
I guess I haven't looked deeply. Honestly, I'm not a very I don't fucking think about things in an I don't take a magnifying glass to like, oh, what am I trying to say? I think I'm trying to say is like an extremely simple-minded person, and every decision,
Are you?
yeah, I feel like I am. I feel like my head is constantly like in a state of, how do I explain this? My head is like constantly in a state of ignorant bliss. Like maybe zen, a little bit like I'm in the present, and I think every decision I make is always spur of the moment, kind of instinctual. I don't know what this has to do with what we're
See, I think
discussing,
I
but
think Zen is materially different from ignorant bliss because a lot of the things you do, at the very least from the outside looking in, they seem deliberate and thought through.
what do you mean?
Well, like for example, you have your entire streaming setup, you have
Yeah,
your
yeah,
model
true.
design, you have your camera design, and it's all very deliberately set out, very well polished. Like I'm going to disclose a little bit of insider baseball again here, but we spent what like a full hour setting up
Yeah.
just to get things working correctly, and you were perfectly patient with doing that because well, you're used to setting up to make sure that things are done well. I don't think that's a habit that usually coexists with quote unquote blissful
You
ignorance.
think so? What if I'm like blissfully ignorantly blissfully ignorantly putting shit together and not giving a shit care in the world? I don't
Uh,
know. Maybe blissful ignorance wasn't the right word.
I I think care is kind of a prerequisite to sit down and invest time into that.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Maybe
Yeah.
I just don't know myself. Maybe I should take that dark triad test. Maybe I am more darker than I let myself on. But
Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Also another personality. There are a multitude of these measuring sticks that people like to use. The other one is the Jungian psychotype test, I think.
okay,
It's like a 300 question one, and it places like attributes that are stronger or you prioritize in a certain order. I forget the exact science behind it, but it's astrology for overeducated people.
astrology for overedge. Yeah, man. No, I'm a dumbass. I'm a
I don't know. You seem to have an MBA, so just on the face of it, you're more educated than I am.
I'm, dude. I'm the dumbest person to have an MBA. Like maybe I'm just good at bullshitting. I think I'm because yeah, it was like I wrote some kick ass papers, and I led some kick ass like little business plan projects. You know how you get with a group, and then you like find a company,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're just like, and the professor's like, okay, pitch an idea to this company, create a business plan to help this company, profit more or something.
I love that shit. That was always my favorite stuff to
Honestly,
do.
I was pretty good at it too. I did one for like GameStop cloud gaming and shit, and then all my classmates were
Yeah.
like in their like 30s, 40s. They didn't really 50s. They didn't really understand what cloud gaming was. So I created
They
this
boomered
entire.
out on you.
Yeah, yeah. I was the youngest one, but then I was just like, okay, so blah blah blah. I did an entire diagram explaining what cloud gaming was, and why specific companies like maybe GameStop could benefit from diverting their services away from their mom and pop brick and mortar selling you know fucking physical copies of discs into like maybe a streaming service for cloud gaming, because everyone's doing that nowadays. Honestly, fucking, I just saw a commercial on TV. Samsung TVs are literally now cloud gaming Xboxes. Do you know this? That's crazy.
I know that cloud gaming is very popular in South America
Oh, is it?
because it's difficult to get PCs down
Oh
there,
wow.
mostly because of import laws. They, like for example, Brazil, they tax everything just to hell and back. Like any piece
Yeah.
of equipment you try to ship into Brazil, they'll slap a gigantic levy on top of that, and that makes buying high-end PCs very difficult there. So because of that, cloud gaming is very popular for things like Nvidia now.
I didn't even know they had fucking internet. No, I'm just kidding. But no, but yeah. So literally, I saw this is crazy. It was kind of cool. I saw a commercial. If you get like a Samsung
Mm,
Smart TV, you can hook up your Xbox controller into it, and as long as you have an Xbox game subscription, and I'm not being paid to say this, but as
hmm.
long as you have that little Xbox Game Pass, you can use your Samsung Smart TV as an Xbox cloud gaming.
Hell yeah.
That's wild. Like that blows my mind. Like thinking about that technology and how what that would have meant to some like my younger self.
The problem with that then becomes because cloud gaming always has very bad ping because
Oh yeah, of
basically
course.
it's you basically have double the ping because you have your end-to-end connection with the actual
Yep.
with the cloud unit,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have the cloud unit's connection back to the game server and then back to you. So because of that, whenever you try to play anything that's not like Balatro, you're just going to get smoked and clowned on by everyone else in the lobby.
No, 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 no. Look, cloud gaming, I would never use that for multiplayer games, bro. I'd only use that for like if I'm playing like a really chill single player campaign.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, hell no. I would never play online cloud gaming. Dude, I'm so competitive that, and I'm sure, I know you are too. Would you play Tekken on cloud gaming? Nah. Nah, you need
No,
every single
I would
frame.
rip my hair
I
out.
know, that's what I'm saying.
I played after the recent server update they did, and I was already mauling to death because wired connections are just very hit and miss. Like I'll agree to a 5 bar wired match, and I'll get like 100 ping, and it's just ass. I'm getting dropped frames. It's eating my inputs. I'm just getting clipped with things that shouldn't clip me because of rollback. I hate
Oh
it so
man.
much. Well, it's Bandai Namco being Mamcoing all over themselves again, which is to be expected.
I haven't played Tekken in a while, but I haven't even fucking played since wasn't that motherfucker's name? Clive came out,
Clive,
and
I forget if he's Clive or Clyde.
it's Clive. I think it's Clive.
Maybe Clive.
Yeah, I don't know him.
I dislike the character. I've stayed out of ranked for probably like 3 weeks, just because of how broken he was on release. And on top of that, they also managed to break the ranking system. So they've implemented a fix for rage quitters,
Finally.
and it turned out that if someone rage quits on you, the system can erroneously attribute that quit to you and penalize you despite you staying in queue.
What? Well, that's ew. Come on. Seems like an easy fix though, you know? Right?
Japanese engineering at its finest.
Seriously. Yeah. No, honestly, I haven't played in months, and on I think I would have had more reason to play if it wasn't Clive. I think that I don't know that took some win out of the sales for me. Like I
Yeah.
didn't really I don't know. I was like, dude, that could have been Bob. You know, that
I
could have
don't
been
want to
Bob.
deal with Noctis with patchy facial hair. Like Noctis cosplaying a man.
Noxus cosplaying a man. I
It's basically what he is. He has like he has buttons that have like range 4 reach in a game that already has issues with everything reaching across the screen. And before that, he had like an unsteppable advancing mid that's safe on block, and this is heat starter. It's just obnoxious to deal with.
shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get why they're doing that. I just disagree with the reasoning. Like, I get it. You want the Final Fantasy fanboys to buy the game, buy the character, if not the Game Pass, and then leave the game because they get bored. But you want them to have fun while they're playing with their character, despite not being able to play Tekken. Like I've
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
listen, I know people within like my FGC circle who could barely breach purple ranks with Victor,
Oh my
who are
gosh, dude.
who are now touching Tekken King with
Are you
Clive.
serious?
I am dead ass.
Gross.
Exactly. That's in a meta where you, for example, can be like high blue rank with Jin without being able to do natural standing
Oh
electrics.
my
It is
gosh.
obnoxious.
Yeah, I'm still. I mean, I haven't played in a while, and I haven't grinded rank in a while. But I'm almost Fujin. It's just, I just haven't played in a while. You know, I haven't tried. I haven't put in any effort.
Apparently, if you don't play the game, you don't rank up in it. Who would have thought?
It's not like not like I'm losing sleep over it. Like I know that I'm
True.
not ranking up because it's my fault. No, I'm just saying though.
Ah.
I'm just saying it's because I'm just it hasn't been interesting me in a while.
You could easily get like high blue ranks.
Oh yeah, with the current meta. What's the
Yeah.
current meta?
Well, just with the people and the way they play there, especially since you're on your first character and you don't have like side hoe characters like me who bloat your Tekken prowess, so you're forced to play against like Tekken God
Oh
Supremes.
really? I didn't know that's how it worked.
Yeah. So they changed the ranking system. The old way used to be you just queue up with people of your rank, and then it's going to be like a mixed bag of people who have second and third characters. Or you can just happen onto people who are genuine Fujins despite you being on your third character.
Okay.
They've changed it to where matchmaking prioritizes prowess. Prowess is a rating that's basically a combination of all of the ranks of all of your characters.
Oh.
So, yeah, because I'm already coming off of a Tekken King Reina and I'm trying to play Jin in ranked, like it already jolts me up into an elo that's filled with people on their third and second characters. And some of those first characters are like gods of destruction.
And at that point you're still kind of like learning Jin.
And I'm not learning Jin because I played Jin since like Tekken 5.
Okay.
But
He's very
but
different in
yeah,
this
but
game
it's
though compared to that. No, is he
uh,
not?
uh, so he's kept all of his problems that he's had historically, especially in Tekken 7. Like he still has stubby range on some of his key moves. He has bad quality of life on some things. His damage is still kind of eh.
Okay.
But so like the thing is he broken? Yes, he is. He's broken in Tekken 7, absolutely. The problem is that for some reason the devs decided to just buff the things he didn't need and are easy to abuse. Like they made him a crackhead character by with the tools that they gave him, but they didn't fix the problems that he had that were holding him back from just being a good all-round character. And that's why you just have crackhead Jins who don't know the game, but they can just win games by mashing through, I don't know, fucking 214 and down 2 all day.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I noticed that. I noticed that when I played Jin for the first time. He was kind of like he kind of does stuff for you.
He does stuff for you. I try to not play the crackhead playstyle. I try to play him as a hybrid Mishima, so like my pressure is still electrics. I try not to use down two at all, except for niche Oki situations, because it's a bad move to rely on, and hopefully it's going to get adjusted sometime later. I think just the design of the character is nonsensical. I'm getting a feeling of Tekken 8 likely being developed mostly without Harada's input, and then he swooped in late stage and started fixing stuff. And up to that point, Bandai was fully committed to just letting the game fail and then blaming it on the gaijin who they put in charge of development for that.
Oh my gosh. Well, what do you think
It
of
was looking like that.
what do you think of so you're saying wait, what are you saying then? Like was Harada's input beneficial or
I'm saying yes. So in later stages, they started fixing the game
okay.
because, oh God, I forget their community manager turned development director for Tekken 8, the American expat who used to be like head community manager for Bandai. So he was like specifically pointed out as the head of Tekken 8's development, and he's like a flaming casual.
Oh man.
He's by no means a high-end Tekken player. He's the guy who, when in Tekken 7, they buffed tracking on hell sweeps so that they would effectively become homing. His response to the community being angry about that was, well, just duck. And then
Oh.
smart people within the company had to go and explain to him, no, Michael, that's not how that mix-up works. You don't just duck. You sidestep Mishimas to the left, and their key moves are supposed to whiff, and that's why this is a problem.
Oh, I
And
see.
that's yeah. Fortunately, that was reverted because even like the Kazuya sweats were up in arms about this. They were like, please do not habuga my character. Please don't make him brain dead to play.
Okay.
And that guy was apparently in charge of Tekken 8, and you can see that in certain places because Tekken 8 does have what I refer to as just the happy button, which is heat. The purpose of heat is just to get immediate gratification from pressing a single button and feeling good about it. That's why you get this gigantic 25% damage super move every round from just mashing out heat.
Yeah. How do you feel about that heat?
I'm trying to think of what I think about it without dropping any hard derogative words. I think it's a system that never needed to happen, but now it's going to have to be fixed.
How do you fix it?
Probably by taking away its priority over other moves. Because like a big problem with Tekken 8's design is that it becomes a crutch that gets you out of bad situations that you've put yourself into. Like for instance, um, if, for example, I'm mashing out of turn because I either don't respect the frame advantage the other person has on me, or I just don't care, and they decide to call me out with like a power crush or something. Well, now I don't have to think about that mind game. I can just press Heat Smash, and Heat Smash just defeats everything. Except for Rage Arts, which is just, a higher priority super button. And on top of that, they've also removed a very important defensive tool in the form. They haven't removed it, but they gimped it significantly. They've gimped parries and reversals because full charge moves, heat smashes and rage arts are now immune to parries for some reason. Which, parries are difficult moves to use. They're situational moves. You get harshly punished for whiffing them. But now you're also making this cohort of get out of jail free moves
Yeah.
that defeat intelligent defensive options, and that doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't make sense if you want high skill people to feel good about their skill expression. It makes sense if you want to placate casuals to buff your player numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can see that. I can see that. What about if you would it be a cool like middle ground solution to have perhaps one rage art and one heat per entire game?
Oh, like what they did for for Street Fighter 5, I think.
I don't know about Street Fighter. I've never played it, but is that how they did it?
I think they had a similar system. Like you had to select what is your V trigger, what is your ultimate. I think the way they did it in Tekken 7 honestly was good enough. You could only use the special moves off of Rage, and it was still some kind of input. It wasn't just a single button that reaches across the screen.
I think it would be cool to have only one of those for in
Mm-hmm.
all
Yeah.
three of your lives. I think it would be cool.
Yeah.
I
That
think it would
that
be a
is
good
one
middle ground. I
solution.
think.
Yeah. That way you either have your panic rage arts or you have access to heat smash, which is like a better availability move, but more limited utility, less armor and whatnot. But I guess it remains to be seen. Like all early Tekkens, early in their lifestyle, they're all jank because normally they would go through an arcade instance, and while they exist in the arcade instance, they sort of iron out the kinks because you have that dedicated population of people who will play them in arcades in Korea and Japan.
You know what I really want is
Hmm.
kind of like a team battle for Tekken 8. Like I wish they would do that. I wish they would do like maybe like three of you guys, 3v3. And
Hmm.
I don't know, like I've seen this like in I don't know, I don't remember which Dragon Ball Z game it was. But it's like you can play on a team with your friends, but it's like a 1v1
Hmm.
still. Where
Tekken had that.
when did they ever
Tekken Tag 2.
I know, but like would they ever do that in a non tag game? Cause man, that'd be sick.
Unlikely,
Damn it, dude, I
since
want it so
that's
bad.
that's sort of the point of the tag games, because tag games are envisioned more as like party games.
Yeah.
Question is, will they ever do a tag game? Because Tag 2 almost killed the
Why
franchise.
did Tag 2 kill the
It
franchise? I heard that was good.
it was good for the Tekken sweats, and that was sort of a big takeaway for, I guess, for the development team. If you make a game that is by Tekken sweats for Tekken sweats, it stops being fun for like the generalized population, which there's a bit of truth to that, but the Tekken sweats are also your core audience, and they're going to stay with your game the longest, and they're going to buy content further down in the game's life cycle. And I think a lot of the difference in success between Tag 2 and, for example, Tekken 7 is misattributed to the simplification when it was actually just ease of access. Because Tag 2, you still had to go out and buy. You still had to buy a physical disc because it was a PS3 slash Xbox 360 game, and Tekken 7 was readily available for download.
Hmm. Okay.
So I don't know what's going to happen, honestly. Maybe Harada has earned enough money to earn the right to goof off with a tag game in 10 years from now.
10 years.
For Well, that's usually the life cycle of a Tekken game,
Is it?
because I think so. Let me
Oh my
check
gosh, you're
when.
right. I mean, the Tekken 7 was like what 2017.
I think so. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Holy shit.
So, and it took them a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, not exactly 10
Like
years, but
7 years.
like 7
Yeah.
years. Yeah, that's generally the life cycle of a Tekken game, which is now further extended, by the way, with DLC and update patches and whatnot. Because like Tag 2 shipped and that was it. Like it's done. Like there's no rebalancing, there's no fixing anything. That's it. It's just there.
It's just there. Yeah.
And yeah, and right now they have the ability to like push out additional characters, have balance patches, which is supposedly for the best. But then they pull one every so often they pull a Leroy on us because they have the ability to hot patch them later.
I can still dream of a team battle mode,
Hmm.
and
Well, I'm not saying it's not happening. It's just not happening in this game.
I fucking hope so. I hope it does still. I hope you're wrong. I don't think it will, but I mean, team battle just sounds. There. I think there was team battle in a non tag game before. I think I've seen
I
it.
don't think so.
Not even in
I don't think
three.
there
Not even
was.
in three.
Nope.
Where the fuck have I seen team battle before? Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was just Tag 2. Tag
Damn.
Two's life cycle was very long. It lasted for quite a while. It was the only Tekken game for like a very long stretch of time.
Do you do you play Smash?
I do not.
Have you ever played Smash?
I have not.
Dude, what? You'd be hella good at it.
I never had a mainline Nintendo console.
Oh,
I
okay.
never had a reason to want one.
No, I grew up.
I almost I almost broke and bought a Switch for the Pokemon games. But then at the time I was already playing Pokemon Go, and like, do I want to get a whole new console for basically the same thing? And I kind of decided against that.
Literally, the last three Nintendo consoles I bought since 2008, I think it was
Hmm.
2008, were for Smash specifically.
Uh,
Like when Super Smash Bros. Brawl came out, I got a Wii. Well, I think I already had a Wii for that. Fine, that's an exception. But the dumb Wii U, the little forgotten Wii sequel, I got that for Smash 4, exclusively for Smash 4. I got a Switch for Smash Ultimate, and now that I only mention this because they announced Nintendo Switch 2.
Have you played any Pokken?
Yeah, I've played Pokken. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
From what I've seen, it's more of a beat 'em up rather than a full-on fighting game. But I do like that it shares moves between with Tekken, like full-on animation sets.
fucking Pikachu's a Mishima for sure.
Yeah, yeah, Pikachu doing single button
Yeah,
electrics.
single yeah. Single button electrics. I think Decidueye is whoring.
Technically, Pikachu is now a bear rather than a Mishima because bears have single button electrics.
Does Kuma have a single button electric? I didn't know that.
He does. He doesn't heat. He has a
Oh,
mid +5 on block single button
I
electric.
didn't know that. I guess I don't play Bear enough to know
Very few
that.
people do.
I heard a Bear won a fucking tournament like a few months ago.
That's possible, yeah. I guess they're getting nerfed again.
Okay. Hopefully, if there's a new Smash though, I'm gonna be playing it. I fucking hope so. I'm crossing my fingers.
What is the deal with people maintaining Smash Melee? Because from what I understand, it's like a particularly long-lasting version of Smash that people like hang on to religiously as opposed to just going to newer Smash games.
I think they're full of shit. I think
Okay,
I think they're full of shit because they're obsessed with wave dashing, and
okay.
you can only exploit like the wave dashing on melee, and they
Uh-huh.
can't let go of the fact that it's a broken mechanic that wasn't ever meant to be a thing, and and I don't know. I think they fucking can't let go of that.
What is wave dashing in Smash? In Melee
In
specifically?
melee, it's just I don't know. It's like a fucking Mishima wave dash. You know, it lets you close distance fast and deceptively. I don't know. It leads
Uh-huh.
into some crazy tech, and it's like it's a pretty high skill ceiling tech. And
Wait, but Kazuya was in one of the Smash games. Can he not wave dash?
yeah, no, I think he can. I think he can wave dash. He's in the recent Smash.
Uh-huh.
But no. Like the actual mechanic of wave dashing in melee was like it involved you like pressing the shield button and then like doing some goofy analog shit. I don't know. It was I mean the game is good. It has like a good
Mm-hmm.
like speed and weight that the other sequels have not um they've not really matched the speed and weight of melee. But it's mostly I don't know. It's just hype. I think it's just like a cult following.
People are just being hipsters about
Yeah,
it.
exactly. I don't take it seriously. It's just
I
like
see.
let it go, bro. Like the only reason why people like melee is because they can't let it go because you know wave dashing and they want to exploit something that's never not meant to be a thing. So yeah,
Yeah, they have a legacy skill set. Well, technically, Korean backdashing is also like that. It's not an intended mechanic.
that's true.
Yeah, but Bandai is sort of well, they did significantly nerf it, to be fair.
Yeah, honestly, it is kind of like that. It's kind of like that. Yeah, but honestly, in Smash though, it's worse. It's worse because no, I don't know. I'm not that
Well, it
like
sounds like it's powerful enough to define an entire meta.
yeah. It is absolutely.
I see. I see. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, Smash is designed to be what? It's supposed to be a party game as opposed to like a white knuckle,
No, bro.
hard mode,
It's
sweaty
as sweaty as
game.
they come. Dude, Smash is like
Really.
fuck yeah, man. It's like Tekken.
Didn't some
It's just
Smash
like
guy try
Tekken.
to play Tekken at some point and he went in playing Katarina in Tekken 7 and then everybody laughed at him for not being able to go past yellow rank?
I don't know. I don't know, but
I forget the name of the guy. Damn it.
I can play
I
both.
forget.
Like I'm pretty good at both. Like I'm decent enough, like above average. I'm not like amazing. Like you know me. Like I'm not like a fucking amazing Tekken player, but
You're see, you say that, but then you throw out some random stuff like a flash duck full crouch four, and I just that's it, and I just eat half a health worth of damage for attempting offense.
I don't know. But
Like, oh, that's a cool electric, bro. Hold this.
I still need to work on that. No, it's been a while. I think I want to wait till the next character. Maybe
Mm.
my hype will come back. It's
Season two probably, well, they're hyping up season two and they're waiting for, I guess, the competitive season to be over because I'm kind of sussed out by them introducing even more new moves as
oh
opposed to
yeah,
just fixing the existing ones.
it's true.
I don't know about that. I don't know. Like, sure, I love doing even more homework for my video games that I play as allegedly entertainment.
No, dude, never on Tekken. That should just that
Yeah.
yeah. No, that requires studying.
Every time someone asks me, should I play Tekken, my response is no.
Oh no,
Do
honestly,
not.
me
It's
too, me too. I've had a bunch of my friends in my community who see me playing, who used to see me playing Tekken a lot. And they're like,
mhm.
"Hey, I think I can get it just so we can play." I'm like, I don't know. Have you ever?
Are you
And
sure
the
about
first thing
that?
I ask is like, "Have you ever played it before?" And sometimes they're like, "Yeah, I played it," or sometimes they're like, "No." I'm like, and if it's a no, I'm like, I don't think you want to. I don't think you want. I don't think you want this. It's too much. You have to study. You have to like learn crazy meta, like and some
Tekken
tech.
8 does hold your hand a lot, to be fair. Like
That's true. It does.
Tekken 8 goes out of its way to hold the
I'm
hand, and
glad.
a lot of players right now are new players because they're enabled by heat, they're enabled by simple controls. Uh, which like I welcome for example, I welcome Tekken 8 finally having a tutorial that actually explains something
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Exactly.
even Tekken 7 didn't do that. Tekken 6 less so. It was generally having like arcane, undocumented, opaque shit be the core mechanics of your game is a very Japanese thing to do. A lot of Japanese games like that. They don't explain anything. It's not written in the game manual. It's just nowhere. No, that's up to you. You
Interesting.
have to figure it out. Yeah.
Okay.
Which was even more wild in a pre-broadband internet era. Like right now, you can go on YouTube, you can find out how to play, how to do a thing in the most recent release of pretty much anything. If it's even a mildly known game, there are going to be solutions and walkthroughs out there. 20 years ago, not so much.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I'm glad. I was kind of glad that it was kind of handholdy because before Tekken 8, it's been a long time. Like I think the last Tekken I actually played seriously was like 6. So yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Before Tekken 8, it's been a long time. Like, I was practically new to Tekken.
I maintain that it's a game made by hateful masochists for hateful masochists.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That definitely captures the essence.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. You said
I hate it here. 600 hours on record.
it.
It's basically the Tekken experience. Well, there are lots of games like that. I think, like for example, Tarkov is going to be like that.
What other games do you play?
I actually don't play Tarkov. I have not gotten into it because the moment I sort of got a little bit interested in it, they had this whole shitstorm about them increasing prices for some kind of perishable pay to win thing, and I just didn't
Ew.
want to get into that. Yeah. Apparently they sell storage. I really don't like paying for air. I don't like paying for like more storage in a video game. Like I'll pay for assets, I'll pay for cosmetics if it's a game that I play a lot,
Me too.
but not for that. Not for more inventory space. I'm sorry, this is pushing it a little bit too far.
I didn't know it was a thing. To be honest, I've never seen that. That's
Apparently it
crazy.
is.
Yeah, no, like I'll
Apparently it
happily pay for
is.
like a really good cosmetic, but that's weird. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, yeah. What other games do I play? I used to play lots of Zomboid. Hmm. Hmm. Actually, I'm pulling a blank here.
Dude,
I don't know.
I have.
Halo when it used to be good.
Yeah, me too.
So that's what, up to like ODST, I guess.
I have not been playing games as regularly lately. I've been pretty busy with IRL stuff.
Hmm.
And just generally, I don't feel nothing right now that's out has me feeling passionate. Uh, like I feel dispassionate about the games right now. I think that will change when GTA 6 comes out. Maybe I'll like
Ah, I wouldn't
I'm looking
put
forward
all
to
my
it.
eggs into that particular basket.
I'm looking forward to
I'm
it.
more than happy to be wrong. I would prefer to live in a timeline where GTA is still consistently good. However, the founding members of Rockstar that worked on all of the good games they ever made have left the company.
Even Red Dead 2?
Yes.
Hmm. I think I'm just basing it off of like I love Red Dead 2 and I know that game was a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah,
And if GTA 6 is just like that, except in modern times, I'd be happy. Who knows though? We'll see. I mean, they just. I have faith. I think I'm gonna have fun with it.
sure.
Hopefully.
As in being positive is just not a skill that I have, but I'm content to be being wrong. Like I would rather set my expectations very low and then be positively surprised.
That's true.
I think
That's true.
it's the gaming industry as like a full-fledged industry is currently in its death throes,
Yeah.
in its like corporatized structure, because it was never a medium that fared well with that kind of structure, and people sort of didn't quite clue into that. And like there were a lot of moving pieces to sending it downhill. Most importantly, it stopped being an environment where creative people want to create passion projects, and rather it stopped being an environment where competent people like to create passion projects. And it turned
I feel
into
that.
useless eaters and paper pushers, making a product for you to consume, as opposed to, oh, I'm going to make this cool thing. And all of the people who want to make the cool thing, they don't really need a studio for that anymore. They can just, buy a Unity license or buy an Unreal license and just make the game in their basement. For example, like the most recent games that I've paid money for are made by like a single dev in their basement. That being what? Beyond Citadel, and another one is like a series of games made by some Taiwanese dev. And like, sure, they're a little janky because they're indie games. They're made by a single dev. It takes a long time for him to catch everything and to fix everything. But on the flip side, it's an actual game with a gameplay loop that's enjoyable to experience because the guy was obviously making a game for himself. And with that single person and single dev vision, he made a good thing.
Yep. It's a passion project. I mean, like
Yeah.
like business. Being being business majors definitely understand like a lot of that corporatized shit and a
Yeah.
lot of the thinking that goes into it, and that's kind of what it kind of turned me off of corporate life.
I think a big problem is that, for lack of a better term, companies got Facebooked, and by that I mean they got Facebook tier recruiters. And Facebook recruiters hire people by like their credentials, by things in their resume, as opposed to things they've done or they're interested to do. So gaming studios hire people who are like familiar with common programming languages, or even actually now even less so. I don't think they hire people who can write scripts and coding. They hire people who can work with streamlined development tools for Unity and Unreal. They're like people who can put together blocks and standardized tools, but they don't do a vibe check for vision. They don't ask for, oh, what are your like past projects and stuff you did before.
That's true.
Yeah. In the meantime, you just have people who do things on the indie scene, and they still have the streamlined tools enable them to make things that you really want to make, as opposed to just making them complacent and lazy. And they try building arcane and unusual shit on top of that. Like, for example, it's Project Zomboid. Yes, like on the face of it, it's Unity, but wait, it's not even Unity. I think it's what? It's a Lua engine that it works on. But people basically are making the infrastructure and the engine logic from scratch because it's a passion project for them. They wanted to make a thing, and they're sitting there and they're meticulously building the thing up, like brick by brick, and building it into a large and very robust product.
I see.
Yeah, sorry, I can ramble about hiring practices and how to do that well, as opposed to whatever we're having for a bit, because I kind of like having good things to consume, and I don't like whenever I am faced with a scenario that is different from that, I like to hyper analyze and figure out how did we get there and how do we get out of this situation.
I don't know how to respond to it. Honestly.
Okay, nerd, I guess.
I'm just listening and I'm like, yeah, business practices, hiring process.
Well, listen, it's all part and part. Maybe that's just my perspective as a denizen of a Weiji Keiji, but I like it in the Weiji Keiji.
What
It's
is
nice
that?
and
What is that?
snug, and
What is that word?
the Weiji Keiji.
Yes.
I believe it's a derogatory term that was dreamt up possibly by 4chan about
Wage
office
slave, like
job.
being a wage slave, like in a
Yeah,
cage,
like
like that little
exactly, you're a
Amazon,
wage
that
slave.
little Amazon patent where they have like, yeah,
Exactly.
okay,
Yes,
I
yes, yes.
think I okay.
That's the wage cage. The wage cage 9000.
Wage cage 9,000. Dude, that shit is crazy. That shit was
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, well, Amazon does, to be fair, Amazon does that for blue collar work, not their actual office work. Not it doesn't make it okay, but it makes it slightly less ridiculous.
Doesn't it make the job easier though, like to just stand there?
Not really, no. Well,
I
I
literally
guess
used to
it
work in
makes
an
it
Amazon warehouse as a contractor,
uh-huh.
and it's fascinating in there. It's like there's like robot. There's literally like fucking robots that carry entire shelves to the
That's
workers
cool.
who are like who are kind of like sorting things out. So
Hmm.
I think that what that pattern was like a more, because it wasn't a cage when I was there, but I
Hmm.
can see where like, okay, so the worker would just stand there with like a box
Okay.
of items, and the robots were just like, just they were just stopping by so that the worker can put items in the shelves, and then
Hmm.
these shelves on wheels would just, when it's done, they would just go somewhere else to another worker who has
Hmm.
other items. And I think that wage cage is like a more a more, yeah, maybe it's just like an upgrade of that. Like I don't know.
So it's like a drone operator station rather than an actual wage cage.
I don't know. Like all I can say is I just remember a worker who would just stand there with like a bunch of items, and then these walking shelves would come in. Not really walking, they're just rolling on wheels.
Hmm.
And they would just stop by next to them, and then they just put shit there. I guess. I don't know.
I
That's what
mean,
I
it's a
remember.
preferable way to work to carrying that around on
Yeah,
foot.
exactly. Like, but it still doesn't change the fact that the wage cage is literally a crazy concept where you, you put someone in a cage. And then,
It got sort of memed to death at some
of
point,
course,
and then it stuck
naturally.
on. But yeah, listen, it enables my expensive hobbies. I get to VTube in my free time and buy expensive guns when I'm not VTubing, so
Yeah, there you go.
it kind of works out.
There you go.
So, are your projects strictly musical stuff, or is there more that you're working on in different domains?
Yeah. So I just in my server I just released like I like a little short webtoon style VTuber lore.
Oh,
It's like a VTuber lore light novel kind of format in like one of the Discord channels
huh.
called Nymphi lore, and I'm just like kind of like the origins of my VTuber and stuff like that.
It's your fatwa against the the red man,
Yeah,
against Santa
exactly. Have
Claus.
you seen it?
I have not yet,
Yeah,
unfortunately. I'm gonna
if
go
you're there,
and
stop
check it
by
out
and
after
look at
this.
the Nymphi lore channel.
I'm in the server.
Give it
I
a
have
read.
all of my Discord notifications off,
No, it's
but
okay.
I'll drop in and look for it.
Drop in and look for the channel called Nymphi lore, and you can just give like a yeah, take like a 5 minutes to like read through it. And it's
Hmm.
I think it's fun. And that's something that I another thing I'm passionate about is world building. I love world building. I
Hmm.
love creating lore, and I've been doing it since I was a kid. And I've been developing this universe for a long time, and one day I want to create something out of it, whether it be a fucking comic or comic that evolves into an eventual animation, into an
Hmm.
eventual video game. Like the possibilities are endless. But
Is it what is the setting, or you want to keep it on the down low for now?
no, I mean like
Is it like
I
a
can
high
talk about like as much
fantasy?
as I can. The setting is like
Go ahead.
it's I think the genre is more like a science fantasy kind of thing. So
Hmm.
I would probably mix some fantasy elements like magic with some modern elements like guns, right? I mean, so if you read the lore, a lot of it has to do with the origins of the elves, where they came from, and why they eventually had to create, why they were eventually subjugated in the north.
Hmm.
And it has to do with bullets. It has to do with creating ammunition, like special ammunition, magically enchanted ammunition to fight off eldritch abominations that have more or less um, invaded the human lands and so on.
Ah,
Yeah, it's fun, Like if you want to mix like guns and mythology, like
yeah.
you'll like my lore. It's cool.
Well, listen, there's a reason why Gate is so popular as a manga series and anime.
How you spell
Mix
it?
it Gate, just like
Oh,
Gate.
okay, let me look it up.
It's the premise of it is that a portal to an isekai opens in like downtown Tokyo.
Oh, okay.
So the Japanese self-defense force invades the fantastical land with their NATO compliant hardware.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's very cool.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Uh,
Wow.
Apparently the manga goes very hard and very dark. Some of that stuff didn't make it into the anime,
Yeah, I can see that.
and it's been a while since I've watched the anime, so I probably should just sit down and read it. But the concept is very cool. I like the fact that the Japanese have this latent gun nerdism around about them, rather even it's probably full blown gun autism. They
Yeah.
have that they have that yearning. They yearn for the gunpowder.
I think yeah. I mean, it's like it's in their fucking genes since fucking World War II. They love that shit and they want it
Well,
back.
a lot of the genes in World War II were kind of lost because of the military doctrines weren't exactly kind to their personnel.
Yeah.
Um, well, to be fair, most militaries of the time operated like that. Um, the reason the U.S. Performed so well and essentially came out as a generational winner of World War II is because the U.S. was better at logistics and it was better at keeping its men alive. Because the Japanese, whenever they had like a good pilot, they would keep sending the pilot out to missions to go and perform. When the US would identify a high-performing pilot, they would send him to the rear to train more good pilots.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And that's on top of also just the logistical advancements. Like, for example, do you know about the ice cream barges?
No, tell me.
So, because of prohibition, ice cream became the new social activity, basically.
For
And
who? The
that
West?
generation, that for Americans,
Yes.
yes,
Okay.
because prohibition only happened in America. No one else was dumb enough
But
to
I
try
thought
it.
prohibition
But
was like in the 20s or like the early
yes, yes,
1900s.
yes, it was in the 20s because of that, a generation of men grew up, well, a generation of people grew up with ice cream as a replacement
Okay.
for alcohol, as like their social activity.
Yeah.
And by the time of the Pacific War, that was the generation of men who got enlisted.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes. So, and you have that generation there. And then basically what the Navy did is that they built a supply chain to, in order to maintain morale of people in the field
Oh,
and in the theater. They built a supply chain to keep them with a constant supply of fresh ice cream. And so every major fleet would be followed around by a barge that is dedicated to nothing other than refrigerating gigantic amounts of dairy that it keeps getting from the mainland.
dude, I'm looking this up. That sounds cute. Ice cream barge.
It's not only cute, it does things to morale, both of your own men and the people on the opposing side, because effectively it creates a situation where you're fighting in an extreme distances away from your homeland, but one side is eating fresh ice cream every day while the opponent is like eating their last shoelaces with no
Oh my
salt.
god.
And that just does shit to you,
Right.
which was that was the Japanese experience during the Pacific War,
Okay. Huh.
because they didn't have logistics nearly as good, and the American fleets were able to do what they were doing with, their personnel being as effective as they were, thanks to maintaining that high personnel morale and motivation.
Holy shit.
And yeah, and that lesson was well learned, and it's currently well exercised right now. That's why the military, for example, has the capability of deploying a Burger King anywhere in the world. That's why
Wow.
your bases will have creature comforts like Xboxes and like junk food, things to sort of keep your men entertained and happy. Because if they subsist in a condition of relative mental comfort, they're going to be better rested, more battle ready, and they're going to perform better. And then
Naturally.
you couple
Of
that,
course.
yeah, and then you couple that also with just advancements in field medicine. You're also now losing fewer men to casualties because, like, as was explained to me by an army ranger, basically, as long as your head is still attached to your body and they get you to base, like the extent of professionalism of the medical staff there, they're going to put you back together, and that means that the army retains you as a collection of experience that's been out in the field, as opposed to just churning through your people like previous militaries used to.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Especially because I remember on deployment, when I went on deployment in the Middle East a few years back, like they had a lot of Western comforts in the base that
Yeah.
I was at, and they fed us really well, and I felt
What's
pretty.
your what was your preferred caffeine drink?
I didn't really do. I guess fucking White Monster.
Oh, you were late. You weren't even in the Rip It era.
What's the Rip It era?
So there were, depending on how late into the global war on terror you deployed,
Pretty late.
you would have had either, so early people who deployed in Iraq, they still had Wild Tiger Energy, which is a Jordanian energy drink.
Okay.
Later on, they started shipping in Rip Its, which was like an off-brand Red Bull.
Okay.
And then after that, they started getting proper Red Bull because like logistics are a thing that you build up gradually. Basically, as the U.S. foothold became more stable, you got better logistics. You could ship in more things for order, and like basically, when you deployed, you could get White Monster in the Middle East.
That's cool.
This is all secondhand knowledge for me. It's all strictly hypothetical. I never made it into the service because it never made sense for me to do at any point in life.
That's fun.
But yeah, I get perspective on it because I interact with veterans a lot. I get to learn from veterans a lot, and it's always interesting stuff.
Yeah.
You get them nice warmed up and talking. They start disclosing NDA shit from their training.
Yeah. I, I would like to like I would like to, but I probably shouldn't, just because I was in like a special in a top secret squadron.
Yeah, let's not break ND. Let's not commit crimes
But
for in places on the internet where everyone can
what
see.
I'm saying is, they've since been decommissioned.
Hmm.
But I guess yeah, no, it's all right.
Probably still NDA
Yeah,
just for
yeah, damn.
based on the
It's
timing.
cool to talk about though, but yeah, you're right.
Let's not like the stance I usually occupy is let's not tell people about breaking the law on the internet. It's it's kind of similar to the whole natty or not talk in bodybuilding because
Yeah.
there's this segment of dorks in the YouTube commentariat that will throw shade at people. Like for example, they walk up to people at the Arnold's and they ask like, "Oh, are you natty or not?" And when someone sort of tries to steer away from the question instead of answering it, they throw shade at people for that.
You ain't natty, bro.
Well, here's the thing. Sure, like if you have eyes, usually you can tell when someone is natty. You're also asking someone to admit to a federal crime on record.
Is it a federal crime to take steroids?
Depending on what you take.
I didn't know that. I thought anyone could just do it.
Well, no, testosterone, for example, it's like a scheduled pharmaceutical drug. Like you can't just blast gear. Like tren is illegal. Fucking well, for one, testosterone that's not prescribed by your doctor. Like how are you getting it? You are purchasing it illegally. Therefore, you are
Yeah.
illegal. You are breaking. You're committing a federal felony by just buying it outside of the amount that was prescribed to you hypothetically by a doctor. That's why when, for example, everyone from the golden age of bodybuilding talks about, oh yeah, it was legal, it was prescribed by a doctor.
Hey, that
Yeah,
was pretty
sure,
good.
your doctor prescribed like 300 milligrams for you to pin per day, not the 1500 that you're pinning.
Yeah, I guess I just thought since it's so freaking common that it was just yeah,
No, it's giga illegal.
yeah. Now that I think of it, like you usually have to get it from some shady dude.
There are gray areas, like for example, SARMs are not a felony for some reason. Well, not for some reason. It's not that they should be. They're research chemicals, so there's just not legislature covering them. And sort of a niche case in that particular sense. A lot of bodybuilders move to Thailand because of that. Because in Thailand, all gear is legal. You just go to the drugstore and you buy like however much tren you need.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that.
Gotcha.
So I maintain that it's inadvisable to admit to federal felonies on the internet.
Fine. I won't talk about the
Like,
sex, drugs, and rock and roll of my rock star life.
well, listen, the rock star life isn't criminalized. The drugs, as long as I think consumption isn't legal, procuring them is, depending on what state you're in.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, for me, it's all outside looking in. Like, I have this love-hate relationship with the whole marijuana legalization conversation because as a staunch libertarian, like almost meme worthy, just short of ANCAP, I don't think it's anyone's business, like if you smoke the wacky tobacco. However, I need the current sort of legal limbo that marijuana exists in to get the NFA thrown out, because the way that like you have certain states deregulating marijuana and certain states not, but it's still being federally regulated, it sort of challenges the interstate commerce clause, and that's the same ground under which the feds regulate firearms and specifically suppressors.
Whoa.
So it becomes a bit of a pet issue of mine. Like, I don't mind that weed smokers get their weed deregulated. I want my suppressors deregulated first, though.
Okay. That's
Like, you can have your shit, just give me mine as well.
yeah, and that's true libertarianism at its finest.
Yeah, yeah. Like I live in Austin. It's a known fact, and I just smell Hoobastank very frequently. It's very obvious that the law is not being enforced in good faith, or at all for that matter. I don't know if that changed like before or after Joe Rogan moved here, but that's just a fact. Like, I'll go on a jog and I will clearly smell indica coming from some poolside.
But what's wrong with
And
that?
I nothing on the face of it. I just wish we had the same energy for violating the NFA.
What's the NFA?
Like, I wish the National Firearms Act. It is the thing that that causes me, in the event that I decide to go and put a stock onto my 5-inch barreled Sig MCX, then that makes me a felon and potentially exposes me to having my door kicked in at 5 a.m. and shot by an ATF raid.
Oh shit.
Yeah, not great. Generally inadvisable, suboptimal, as some may say.
Suboptimal conditions.
Yes.
Okay.
That's actually happened to people too. Like, someone got shot in an ATF raid for no good reason.
Dude, that's crazy.
More than once. I mean, except for Ruby Ridge and Waco, and there's been a more recent case. They were casing some dude for allegedly selling firearms without a license. They covered up his Ring camera, kicked down his door. He didn't know if that it was the police. He thought someone was breaking into. He thought someone just kicked his door down at 6 a.m. He had his handgun. He shot back at whoever was kicking down
Oh
his door,
wow.
and they just domed the guy.
Oh, he killed an ATF.
No, no, no. He injured an ATF guy, but the ATF domed him, like, just dead.
Yikes, man.
Yeah,
Oh wow, dude.
they basically they no knocked him, despite the fact they claimed to have knocked on the door, but no one knows that because for some reason they didn't have body worn cameras and they covered up the Ring door camera. So like, they got put into a situation of, well, yeah, we investigated ourselves and we found out that we did nothing wrong. Sucks to suck.
Oh, that's slimy.
Yeah, well, that's the ATF. That's why they're everybody's favorite federal agency.
Yeah.
So, sorry to sour the mood like
It's not sour in
that.
the mood. I was just thinking, like, me as a Californian, like, we're very much not allowed to have a lot of fun stuff.
Well, you're not allowed to have any NFA items at all.
Exactly. So I was thinking, like, I'm not really like falling into that. I don't know.
You mean you're not at risk? Everyone is constantly at risk
Of
of
the
an ATF
ATF.
raid. Well, here's the thing. Because you can't legally have NFA items, means that the only way you can have an ATF item is by not going through the NFA process. So by definition, you can have them, just only illegally. And it's, it's like, there's not a case of someone having an NFA, a short-barreled rifle, for example, in California, and it not being a felony, because California doesn't allow you to have those legally.
Okay.
So yeah, the ATF still watches over. Speaking of California, I might actually get around to getting a non-resident concealed carry permit for California.
I have a concealed carry permit. I have to renew it though. It's been a while.
I think you have to renew them everywhere. Mine is also up in like 28, so like even in Texas, I still have to renew mine. But California apparently will soon have a process for non-residents to also get permits.
That's what's your EDC?
A Glock 43 XMOS.
Hey, Glock 43 enjoy. Me too. I have a Glock 43.
I can't conceal anything larger because
Why?
I lack the real estate around my waist area. Like anything larger is going to print on me.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm a fairly
Yeah.
skinny individual, and I like Glock 43. But the thing about that is like it's very small. Like you cool with that?
Yeah, yeah, I can shoot it fairly confidently. I can get shots on target.
Do you have like a +2 mag on it? +1?
I carry a 15 round mag on
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah, we can have
Yeah, I
those.
know. Don't rub it in.
Well, to be fair, yours is stock. I also have the 10 rounders laying around in a drawer somewhere because I never use them. Um, and that's obviously because the gun was made to just be California compliant out of the box.
Yeah.
The only problem I've had with it, when I do like a proper handshake on it, if I do it like the proper way, I keep fat fingering the slide release with my other
Oh,
hand
I see. Yeah.
because of how it sits. So I have to modify it. Like I go thumb over thumb to avoid doing that, and then it runs just fine. Listen, it's a small gun. It's going to be snappy. If if I try putting shit onto it to make it like if I put a compensator on it, that sort of defeats the purpose of it being a subcompact gun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I taught myself to shoot through the suck, and like whenever I don't have to conceal, I'll just eventually get an adult-sized gun.
You know what I want really bad is
Hmm.
a 22 Magnum. Not a
A
revolver, but like
22 mag.
yeah, like a. Let me see. Let me look it up. I think there's like a nice. Let me see. Smith and Wesson 22. 22 Magnum pistol. Yeah. Oh man, dude, that thing was awesome. The reason why I wanted 22
22
Magnum
mag.
pistol is because
Hmm.
I'm a huge 5.7 fan,
Oh,
but they're very expensive.
what you don't want the new stripper clip cocaine pistol that
Stripper clip
that
cocaine.
Kel-Tec had? You haven't heard about it?
What's it
So
called?
Kel-Tec
Kel-Tec what?
uh God, I forget what it's called, but Kel-Tec made a 5.7 pistol and they showed it off on SHOT Show.
Oh
Just a
yeah, yeah,
second.
yeah. I've seen it.
Kel-Tec,
Is it called a
Kel-Tec.
PR-57?
PR, yeah, yeah, PR-57.
PR-57 rotary barrel pistol.
So
The heck?
you could that
Whoa!
way it's built to give you 20 round
What
capacity
the fuck?
because it's not a detachable magazine. It's stripper clips.
Whoa, dude! Isn't that like a freaking Walther? Or is it? No, Luger. It looks like a Luger.
Well, Luger's also did that. So
Yeah,
the previous gun that did that was actually designed by the guy who founded Kel-Tec later on.
that's
So
cool.
that was a yeah, the stripper clip thing was always his
That is
baby.
so crazy.
But I mean, listen, if that's all you can get, I probably wouldn't want to run it because I don't think Kel-Tecs are failure prone, but I also don't want to trust the melted beach plastic that they use for their guns.
Melted beach plastic. Like, is that
That's
literally?
no. It's just that the plastic they use is it has some tolerances to it, and it's a little rattly, and it like feels hollow and cheap. It feels like it's been made by like the casing's been made by Motel or something like
Oh,
that.
okay. That's cool.
Like it's easy to hate on Kel-Tec guns, but when you really sit down and think about it, there's really no reason to do that.
Yeah. I don't really have an opinion on Kel-Tec guns. I guess I don't know much about them.
Well, they're wacky, so
They're
there you go. If you want a 5.7 gun, there you go.
it is very wacky from what I've seen. But yeah, no, I mentioned 22 Magnum because
Uh-huh.
it's it's basically a poor man's 5.7. Like 22 is it's nice, you know. It's cheaper than a 5.7 and it does kind of what a 5.7 kind of does. It's fast. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. It's isn't it like high velocity? It's kind of long,
well,
long range. Like
it's high velocity, but it doesn't have the ass to do what 5.7 was developed to
well,
do. 5.7 is supposed to
go through.
defeat soft body
Yeah,
armor.
it's supposed to go through body armor. You know, I know that,
Yeah.
but it still packs a punch. I think.
Yeah.
Like I still think it's. I still think it's a valid option for a self defense.
I
You don't think
see,
so?
that's where I disagree.
22
No, I
Magnum.
don't think that. I think the temporary. Maybe I'm not looking at it at a round. Is it what caliber is it? It's not. Okay, just a second.
Look at a
22
22
Magnum
Magnum round.
round.
Yeah.
I would like to see some gel tests
Um,
before I make a definitive
I
judgment
think
on
I've
that.
seen some gel tests with it.
Does
Compared
it
to like a five
perform
seven, and I think it was pretty impressive.
okay, but compared to, for example, like a 380?
Well, yeah. I don't know.
Well, not 380. Wait, it is 380.
I,
What's the one that's smaller than 9 mil?
I think that
3
is 30 38 30. I don't know.
Yes, 380, not 38 special, 380
380.
specifically.
Okay.
It's like a smaller carry round. I personally probably wouldn't carry anything smaller than 9 mil. Like right now, I'm thinking about upgrading to 9 mil plus P
Okay.
because I, as my everyday carry, have what I have in these. I have Sig V crowns, and I carry 147 grain, and like that should perform well enough. I live in a warm climate, so like thick clothing isn't really a factor. Like I don't have to think about that, but I probably wouldn't go smaller.
I think I would trust a fucking 22 Winchester Magnum round
Hmm.
in a self defense. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know.
I guess if you're able to put a lot of shots on target,
Yeah.
and
That's exactly what I was thinking. Center mass.
you know what's important? What the magazines look like, because 22 mags are horrific. Just the 22 LR mags, because they're always some kind of shitty spring loaded system. The follower is never great because well nobody carries 22s, and like 22 is just generally like a throwaway design made with gigantic tolerances. That's why 22 LR guns are so cheap. Like you can get an MP5 in 22 LR for like $500,
Yeah.
but like why would you?
Yeah, that's for fucking gerbils.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, but 22 Win Mag is I don't know. It seems nice. I've seen some like gel tests with it.
Oh, listen, you know what you're doing. Yeah, if you've seen the gel tests and like temporary cavitation is a very big factor in like choosing self-defense ammo.
I
Yeah, I looked up some shots of gel test. That looks gnarly. That's a vicious wound channel that they create. I'm somewhat concerned about temporary cavitation because it was explained to me that that's like a very big factor when you're choosing your self-defense
the
ammo.
hell is temporary cavitation?
It is the cavity that is created by the hydraulic pressure of the round entering the body like at its full velocity that then contracts into a permanent cavity, which is the actual wound channel.
Okay, what about it?
So, for example, a subsonic round and a supersonic round out of a rifle will have similar permanent cavitation because like it's the same projectile, it fragments in a similar fashion, but because the powder load is different and the subsonic doesn't break the sound barrier, it's going to exert less physical forces as it's entering the target, and therefore it's going to disrupt less soft tissue. And because of that, for example, my home defense rifle is loaded with rather supersonic polymer tips.
So what's the concern with the 22 Win Mags?
I would like to see if 22 can generate a significant temporary cavity to make sure that you destroy the hardware while placing shots in the A zone.
Does a 9 mil do that?
Yes, it does.
Okay, gotcha. That's honestly that's a valid concern. Yeah, I mean, if you ever
Yeah.
find out that information, I'd like to know.
I am going to look at the gel tests because I've only found stills.
Okay,
If I can find video, I'm going to look at it.
there's tons of videos.
Oh, okay. Then I'm just gonna look up the video later.
Yeah.
Because the reason why I never considered 45 as a carry gun, because 45 ACP doesn't really generate that different of a wound channel or temporary cavity, but it sucks to shoot. It's less capacity, and like for not a lot of difference in stopping
Oh, I
power.
see.
Yeah, so that's why I sort of stayed on 9 mil as a good middle ground solution.
That's weird. Everyone like makes 45 out to be like this crazy shit.
The hammer of God.
Yeah, yeah.
2 world wars.
You know the history of why 45 was invented, right?
No, I do not.
It was to kill my people.
Wait, what?
I think it was like in the freaking
The elves?
Filipinos.
Ah,
Yeah, I think.
no.
Yeah, it was.
That can't be true. Wait, the Philippines were an American protectorate at the time of World War II.
No, no, no,
Get
no,
the
no, no,
fuck
no.
out.
1911.
Even in it was still an American colony by then.
So there were like tribals, I think, that were still resisting, and apparently they were so fucking drugged up that 9 millimeter rounds couldn't stop them. So the invention of
Holy
the
shit.
45 was warranted by having to kill these drugged up tribals in the Philippines. True story. Look it up.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't believe you, it's just so insane sounding that just
It sounds insane.
45 ACP.
No, fucking Brown. I think didn't Browning himself fucking invent 45 ACP?
I don't know about that. I only know that he invented the tilting barrel.
Well, this is what I
Holy shit, John Moses Browning invented the 45
to
ACP
kill fucking
in
drugged up tribals in the
1904.
Philippines. Who couldn't be
How
stopped
it was
by 9
adopted?
millimeters.
Adopted by the U.S. military with the Colt 1911s. Standard handgun of the U.S. military until they switched to Beretta M9s. Is it on the Wikipedia page, maybe?
Somewhere out
I don't
there.
have a Jamie to pull it up and read it out for me.
Yeah.
Just a
Yeah.
failure as a podcaster. Design and history.
Oh man.
United States Cavalry began trials to replace the sidearms in the arsenal of issued single-action armies.
They were using
38
single
long
action
Colt.
armies. Jeez.
Well, at the turn of the century, yeah.
That's insane.
I don't see any mention of suppressing
You'll find it, man.
Filipino
You'll find it.
tribes.
It's there. They're
Okay,
they're not gonna say that in like the first fucking.
on
It's somewhere there.
on Wikipedia. Listen, if they could stroke their jerkin to the idea that like America's favorite caliber was invented to oppress Aboriginals, they would have had that in like blood red over the entire page.
Dude, it's somewhere there. It's somewhere there. At least that's what I was told. But honestly, I've seen it. I seen it.
Listen, I will choose to believe that. My source is the voices told me, and I'm happy with that level of research as of right now.
Okay.
I'll read up on the exact drugs that make you impervious to 9mm.
Me- me-
I want what that guy is smoking.
I know, right? It's something. It's something along the lines. I might not be like. I might be like. I might be like maybe.
Because I'm not sure there was like from my very limited understanding, because like my schooling wasn't American, therefore my handle on American history is patchy. But from what I understand, there was never any military action around the Philippines up to the Pacific War, when it was like basically as part of the Pacific Theater, because the colony was overtaken from the Spanish without a single shot being fired.
So you don't think that some people, some tribals, were resisting?
I'm not
you
sure.
believe that like no shots are fired? Really? I don't know.
No, they were definitely fired. No shots were definitely fired when taking the colony over from the Spanish, because before that it was a Spanish colony.
Yeah, I know that.
I know that specifically, I just know the story because I watched the Fat Electrician video about this, because this is how I learned most of my history, because, well,
Sure.
internet is a source of questionable education, I guess.
Yeah.
So the particulars of the American conquering of the Philippines as a former Spanish colony did not involve any military action, because when the ship basically when the ship that was supposed to do reconnaissance on the Spanish forces approached the island, they sent out a committee to meet them with basically like the colony heads, and like, we thought you were a Spanish trade ship. And they're like, no, we're an American military vessel, and you are now POWs. Congratulations.
Okay.
That's basically it. There were possibly pockets of resistance. I'm gonna take your word for it, because your information is first-hander than mine.
So okay. So what I'm looking up is it was called the Moro Rebellion, and it was like around 1899, and there were okay. Hold on. Okay, so it was in the Philippine American War around that time, and it was in Mindanao, so that's like South Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Like, I'm like reading like this like little Quora thing about it, and some people are like discussing it. Yeah. So I mean, something is there. Something is there. It could be a myth, but if you look up like Moro warriors.
I think something definitely happened. They definitely encountered people who did not immediately stop from, being engaged with small arms. I think 45 ACP most likely was invented just as an attempt to replicate of the ballistics of what was it, 38 long Colt, long, I think. Whatever caliber the Colt single action used. It's more likely that it's that.
Yeah, probably. I mean, like I was looking at like this little fucking thing, but I mean, I'm sure there's more.
Maybe.
Uh, yeah. I don't know. There's something there. All I know is that there's a direct relation with the 45 ACP to Filipino tribals around the early
Hmm.
20th century. That's all I know. I'm not I'm not an expert on the
Let it be.
subject.
Let it be so. Let it be. Out of
It's somewhere
respect for the
there.
Filipino people, I will proceed to carry 9mm plus P.
No, I mean it's kind of an honor to know that like if it's true or not that my
You're
people can
so
only
built that
we're so built different that a fucking new round needed to be invented for us. I think that's an honor to
required
me.
the invention of God's
That's
caliber.
what, dude. Literally, I was making a song. Here, let me sing it for you. Ready?
All right.
Let me get out my guitar. I remember writing the lyrics to a really silly song.
No, no, no. Double down on it.
Okay. Can you hear this? Hold on.
Yeah.
Can you hear the guitar?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like clearly?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. Let me see if I can still sing it. God's caliber was made to smite my people. Uh,
The opening itself is already great.
Dude, oh man, like I think I was writing. I haven't sang it in a while, but I was writing something like. Let me fucking find the lyrics. It's somewhere there. I think I called it like God's caliber, and I think like the little ending chorus. It goes like it's like from the perspective of a fucking soldier trying to kill the fucking tribals. It's like I'm so happy I'm alive. Blessed be that 45. There. It was something like
That
that. It was
goes.
something like that.
That goes
Yeah,
hard.
isn't it cool? I'm so happy I'm alive. Blessed be that 45.
That's a great lyric.
So cool, right? Yeah.
That should go on a t-shirt.
Cause caliber was made to smile like people. Something's I'm so happy I'm alive, but CP that 45. Yeah, something like that.
I love it.
Thank you, thank you.
I want that final line on a
It's,
t-shirt.
it's cool, right? It's cool, right? Too bad I don't carry 45.
You put someone in the dirt with the 45 in Texas, the state should just subsidize you a t-shirt like
I
that.
know. Blessed be thy 45. Like it was, yeah. Oh man, that's cool though. Um,
I I've never had a fun time shooting any 45s. It's not a fun caliber to shoot,
it really isn't.
even out of full metal guns.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I'm trying to remember. It wasn't the first time I ever shot a 45 was actually in California, and it was out of some over decorated piece of shit. I want to say Kimber 1911.
Oh, okay.
So like the grips were metal and it like overly ornate metal. I think it had like snakes and
Yeah,
scorpions
I've
and
seen
shit. Like
those.
everything that would interfere with you getting a proper grip, basically.
Yeah, the really fancy shit. Yeah. I mean, that's a Kimber for you, dude. That's what they
Yeah,
do.
it's just shit.
Okay. Oh, hold on. I'm getting a text from my mom.
Ah, go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna have to go soon. I have to do
Ah,
something. Well, honestly, we're hitting
okay.
about like almost 2 hours.
We're about on 2 hours. Like the median time for these waffles between like 2 to 3 hours. So if you have to go, listen, we can put a lid on it now. And listen, I'm always happy to have you on again.
Yeah, no, this is cool, man. Like I love your setup.
Yeah.
I love your setup. Um,
Why, thank you very much. I try to keep the place inviting and neat.
yeah, that's really nice here. It reminds me of my place. Except, oh, you know what?
Well,
I like that poster behind you. Very mush. It's very
ah,
psychedelic. Tell me about it. Where'd you find it?
so this is an art piece by Moriguchi Yuji. He is he's a classically trained artist. He's like a grungy old man who makes like absolute king shit, for lack of a better term. The tattoo on my right arm is also a piece of his.
Oh wow.
It, yeah, it's like it's the wheel of samsara, but the wheel is a splayed out octopus with a half naked Japanese girl on every tentacle. So he plays around with like those themes of light to heavy eroticism, and he couches those in more or less traditional themes of Japanese art. And he's like a conventional artist, like none of that digital tablet drawing shit. No, like his stuff is all like ink on canvas and paper and by hand, and like very from sketching, meticulously covering, uh just all the good traditional art stuff. I aspire to some at some point actually make it to an exhibit of his. He's only exhibited on like temporary stuff across Japan, and it's unfortunately just never when I'm in the country.
What's his name?
Moriguchi Yuji. I can send you the
No,
spelling.
I got it. Wow, I like it. I love his stuff.
Yeah,
Well, it's very traditional. Yeah, definitely rooted in like traditional classical Japanese.
he's classically educated, but the themes, like he goes places with that technique. He's very Dali-esque with that because Dali was also like an academic, classically trained artist, but he couldn't just contort that into expressionism without having to he was a good enough artist that he didn't have to explain away the jank, as opposed to like modern artists who just splash some paint on a wall and then make up a reason for why they did that.
I can see where you're saying like he gets into like some erotic stuff. Like definitely,
Yeah,
yeah. Wow, it's
he's definitely an enjoyer of the female form.
he is especially. Wow. Okay. I can. Yeah. Okay. Whoa.
Okay, for the home viewing audience, none of it is porn, okay? I promise. It's all above board.
It's honestly kind of deep.
It is, it is. His older stuff is also very cool. Like I'm a fan of everything of his. He's all killer, no filler.
Dude, did he invent friggin' tentacle?
No, tentacle porn was invented somewhere in the 14th
No
century.
way. Are you serious?
I shit you not. There are original shunga paintings from like the
What?
Edo period with like an octopus being all over a naked lady.
Interesting.
I have seen those myself. I can vouch for that.
Wow.
The Japanese were kind of freaky about it a long, long time ago,
Interesting.
as you typically will become in like periods of economic of just no wars, economic development. Your society gets a little bit bored, a little bit
Yeah,
overfed.
like a renaissance.
Yeah, exactly. They start engaging in extracurriculars.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that he might have been one of the first people to like popularize it more. Um
He's current. He's like still alive.
yeah, but like I'm looking at art from like the 70s where he's doing that stuff. I think from the 70s, but man, it's awesome. I like it. I like it. I love his work.
He's very cool. I found him completely by accident. I was going through art books in a Japanese bookstore in London, and I just happened upon one of his pieces, I think with like a girl inside of a chest or something like that. And it just snapped, and I just memorized the name, looked him up. It's difficult to find good quality prints of his stuff.
Yeah, okay. This is awesome. I'm definitely
Yeah.
into it. I
Well,
love that traditional look. And yeah, going back
more
to
more than happy to have shown that to you.
it's very psychedelic.
It is. That's what I like about it. It's very trippy. But Nymphi, thank you for dropping by. You have anything you want to plug, shout out for when this comes out?
Yeah. Um come to my Nymphomaniac streams on Twitch and I will sing you songs. Yeah. That's it.
There you
I'm not
go.
really good at plugging myself. I never really do that self promo shit.
I'm gonna link your Twitch and like I'll direct people to finding you. So don't worry about that.
And also follow
If this
Kudomaru Onii-san.
they're not gonna see this without following me.
Fine.
But yeah, if Twitch is where that's your go-to, then yeah, let's send all of the people to Twitch.
Well, dude, I've been wanting to like expand into like YouTube more. I don't know how to be a
Hmm.
YouTuber though. That's honestly, it's different. I don't know why it's different, but
There
it
are
feels different. It feels like
there are two ways. There are two ways of doing that. There's the YouTube essayist, where you just have your pre-scripted, hyper-edited shit,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
and I just don't have the patience
Me
for that. I
neither.
just do not have the time of
I
day.
can't do it.
What I do, what I do, and I'm aping that off of like bigger, more successful VTubers. Basically, I'm copying Smug and Leaflet. I'll do a big Zatsu stream. I'll scream at the clouds. I'll react to some dumbass video, and then I'll sit down and I'll edit pieces of the VOD. I'll edit out the jank, me stuttering and repeating myself, and I'll have it as a more presentable package, and I'll upload that to the YouTube video, to the YouTube. Sometimes I'll splash in some memes and whatnot.
Yeah, I think the thing about going to YouTube is like you're gonna need to find a specific style that works for your content and it's also original sometimes, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Hmm.
I'm like, I still need to find that voice. Like I don't know how to tell my, I don't know how to introduce myself to YouTubers. I don't know how to talk to them because it's usually just like a recorded video. But
I know. You know what I think? I think that your lore stuff would be very well suited for YouTube. Because basically, why would you watch a YouTube video? You go there to be told a story or to receive information.
I think I should
And
do that.
I
Yeah.
think the lore stuff, yeah, I think the lore stuff is a very good fit. Like, you're not going to be constrained by the stream format. Again, you don't have to wrangle chat in the background, and you can have your pace, and then you can edit in a way you like, and you can have more sophisticated visuals to it. I think that's a very good fit for you.
All right, you're the second person that said I should do that lore video. Maybe that's the next one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Okay, don't let me hold you. Thank you for dropping by.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Always a pleasure.
thank you, Kurumaru.
I will
Oni-san.
see you around.
Thank you.